Hi, this is Dr. Joe with Bits and Pieces, just responding to a question from Kristen, who asked me to talk a little bit about what I mean by adding energy to emotions. So let's take an emotion like anger, and let's say you weren't allowed to feel anger as a child. There was only one person in the family who was allowed to express anger, and that was this particular person, but everyone else had to suppress anger. And so you have this original emotion. Let's say you have righteous anger. You're legitimately angry about something very valid. So you have anger, but we end up adding to the emotion of anger, we add shame or guilt. So that's what I mean by adding energy. So it's feeling the original emotion, but then having a meta emotion about the emotion, having an emotion about the emotion. So then you're adding energy to it. So you're adding the energy of guilt and shame to anger. So now you don't just have anger that sometimes, especially if guilt and shame are involved, is suppressed, but now you have anger with guilt and shame. And you've got this sort of potpourri of emotions, when if you just felt the original emotion and expressed the original emotion, then you would just be dealing with the original honest emotion instead of adding energy to it. So that's what I mean by that. We can add energy to any emotion. So it's just good to pay attention to that. Are we having an emotion about our emotion? Are we having shame about feeling grief? We live in a world that shames us for not feeling good at times. And so are we feeling shame about feeling grief? Or are we feeling, even, it can be the original emotion, are we feeling fear about fear? So this is how we can get into what people would identify sometimes as a panic attack, is sometimes we start to feel this fear come up and we fear, and so it adds the energy to it. I hope that this is helpful. Thank you, Kristen, for the question. This is Dr. Joe with Bits and Pieces, ahimsa for all beings.